In 7, they have filed this report, lad, and they have like the presiding officer, lad, returning officer, lad, has denied all his responsibilities, lad, and has shifted to the presiding officer, and also says that the signature which was in the backside is he has denied is not identical to the signature of others. This
What was your issue?
my issue that there was ballot papers, which was lying outside. We have handover.
Unused ballot papers were
Unused ballot papers.
unused ballot paper, but the sign of the presiding officer J there. Not full name, but J there. It was signed,
All right.
short signature, and it
This matter has to be gone into Mr. Bhattacharjee was leading me.
Now, what does the report say?
Report
Milord,
says
if your lordship may kindly, Milord, take my report.
Yes,
Please take me at the 4th page of the report.
yes.
I so and so, after completion of the printing of the ballot papers of 3 tiers, Milord, these are, Milord, how, Milord, these are to be taken care of. Now, so far as my lord's queries are concerned, please take page number 5. Yes, page number 5. Or, my lord, before that, if your lordship may kindly take, my lord, the second paragraph at the top, the procedure, in respect of, my lord, the unused.
Number 5.
Page number 5.
Yes,
Kindly take me at the top,
yes.
5th line, Annexure 5, chapter Roman 16 of the Handbook of the Presiding Officer, page number 55, point number 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. After completion of the poll procedure, on reaching at the receiving center, the presiding officer should deposit the sealed statutory covers containing separate sealed covers of various important statutory items, including 1, the sealed cover containing the other unused ballot with counterfoils, the sealed cover containing signed but unused ballots with counterfoils. The respective counter personnel have to receive the items in good faith, as there is no scope to check each and every sealed individual covers inside big statutory cover that is green colored. Please see so and so. Then, my lord, Annexure 5, then below that, after that, further the polled ballots in ballot boxes were stored inside strong rooms, and finally strong rooms were sealed in presence of all political party representatives, and there were also arrangements of security and CCTV. Political party agents also remained present 24/7 to view the continuous CCTV footages of the strong room till the date of counting, that is 11 July. Panchayat returning officer is the custodian of all the ballot boxes, poll ballots in the ballot boxes after the RC. Now, my lord's query. Query of Honorable Justice Amrita Sinha was regarding how and in what way the empty ballot papers could be scattered around the counting center at so and so place and recovered by the petitioner. But now the response is, as the PRO, it is not possible for me to answer in what way the empty ballots were scattered around the counting center, as all the ballot papers issued against respective polling stations were under the custody of the polling officer and his polling party for the previous approximately 36 to 40 hours before submitting to the receiving center in sealed envelope. So it is only the presiding officer and his party can give explanation to the above query. The ballot papers in sealed ballot box, which were counted by the counting officer at the concerned table of counting hall, were same in number with the number as mentioned by the presiding officer, is signed in Form 18 ballot paper account for that ballot polling station. As a result, the petitioner's suspect of manipulating the result of the counting candidates using the said unused ballot paper is not justified. Then with the next query of your lordship is as to whether empty ballot papers were issued by the Panchayat returning officer and was those signed by the concerned presiding officer. In this regard, this is to submit from the existing record that the ballot papers were issued to the polling party by the Panchayat returning officer, but the signature at the backside of the ballot paper is not identical with the signature as recorded at the ballot paper register. Therefore, these are, my lord, the my lord,
But don't you think that these replies are very vague?
Absolutely.
my lord, first is, my lord, the officer says that he or she, my lord, has to act within a zone. Under this officer, my lord, there are these polling officers. My lord, ballot papers are given to them, and these persons, they remain on the spot. So, my lord, the primarily, or my lord, the person who is, what should I say, my lord, has the first-hand knowledge would be those officers who are at that point of time, my lord, handling with the ballot papers, then putting it into the statutory cover, etc. That is what is the report.
Now, when the query has been put forth, then the BDO ought to have obtained information from the presiding officer as to how could these ballots go out. Nothing is over here. Simply shrugging responsibility and saying that the presiding officer's duty. PRO is the custodian of all documents over there.
Well,
Will it not take
yes,
specific
I follow.
instruction?
I follow. But your lordship, in that case, my lord, directs my lord the PRO to my lord, or directs me to consult the PRO and my lord file a supplementary report. Or I'll do that, or your lordship need not mention that, but I'll do that.
I find that he is trying to shrug off his responsibility.
Yes,
The portions that you read out from the handbook
yes.
is very specific as to what is to be done, how it is to be done.
Right.
Why will these procedures not be maintained?
But the procedure has been maintained. I mean, if I may humbly say this, my lord, the procedure has been mentioned. Question is, my lord, certain ballot papers were found lying somewhere.
Not certain. There are so many matters.
Yes.
You are appearing in a handful, couple.
Right.
Miss
Right.
Sinha is here. She has seen everybody coming and handing over of ballots as if the ballot papers are available everywhere apart from the ballot boxes. Why will it be so?
Appearing for the commission, I cannot say anything
You may
beyond
not
my
say,
instruction.
But Mr. Dotto, this is what is happening practically. Tell me
But
what
there are
can the court
allegations,
do?
my lord, there are allegations that we all can find from the news.
The
and,
bottom line is free and fair election. Nothing else. Whether it is decided by the High Court, whether in the election petition,
Right.
wherever it is, free and fair election is the
But the ultimate motto.
motto.
Right.
And what are we getting? Now, if the court exercises jurisdiction, then the response is the High Court cannot. It has to go before the election commission, before the election petition.
Yes. But on that, I said, my lord, give me half an hour on one day, my lord. I like to, my lord, address your lordship on that point.
You will address as election petition will be maintainable and not this.
Therefore, my lord, if your lordship permits me to say this, my lord, with utmost hesitation, my lord, I'm saying this, my lord, these kinds of, my lord, allegations, my lord, from the common persons, common man will come against, my lord, constitutional authority. It is bound to come. My lord, in all segments, even in the judiciary, even in the administration, constitutional authorities like this, these are bound to come. But my lord, when it is one may come here, my lord, to get a free and fair election. No doubt about that. But my lord, the underlying may not be that, what should I say, innocent as is posed.
Same applies to you also.
Yes, definitely. That's why I said. That's why
Safeguard is there. Safeguard is there, but
That's why I said, my lord, there is three things.
In this instance.
One is a law. The second is a body. And the third is the decision-making process. The law is West Bengal Panchayat law, etc., etc. Flowing from the constitution, part 9A. But the body is, my lord, the election commission. And third is, but if there are allegations, counter allegations, where should this be thrashed out? Because where the electorate is not before your lordship. Today, in all these matters, why it should go before the special tribunal constituted by the law Because in law, it is deemed that when an election petition is filed, the electorate is before the tribunal. Now, in these matters, I fight with the petitioner with the state, etc., etc. But finally, my lord, the electorate is not before this court. Now, unless the electorate is before the court, but on small issues like this, I do not know whether I have used the expression, right expression or not, or issues like this, if I may put it like this. On issues like this, my lord, the electorate is not before the court. But whether it gets affected or not, ballot papers found here and there, whether it affects the result of the election or not, but that obviously my lord, has to be by way of an evidence. Therefore, my lord, if your lordship so desires, my lord, we can file another report, elaborate report.
To cover up whatever is not here.
Well,
My lord, one thing, my lord, may I submit? My lord, the presiding officer is the necessary party in this case because he has issued the ballot paper and he is to suppose to keep the rest of the ballot papers unsigned, unused in a sealed cover as per statutory provision. Well, if there is any deviation, he is the responsible person and he
And the BDO and the commission
My lord,
cannot take any
if it is
steps.
sealed cover, unless the order of the court, that seal cannot be touched by the returning.
Yes, now suppose the
My
presiding
lord, if
officer,
my lord direct that seal can be break up and seal can be checked out.
suppose the presiding officer does not act in accordance with the
Then
guidelines.
my lord, every action would be taken from
What
the,
action are you taking?
my lord, unless my lord, it is proved that he is, my lord, the sealing was not proper made done and he is responsible for
The
missing.
court has put forth a query as to
My
how
lord,
are the ballot papers
How are the,
outside.
my lord, how?
The
But
BDO
my lord,
says,
there is no direction that the seal may be broken up by the returning officer.
nobody has given this direction.
So then, my lord, how the seal, my lord, in the seal cover, how many ballots are there remaining?
No, it is mentioned in the presiding officer's diary.
That is that.
How
he-
many ballot papers were
Yes, my
issued?
lord, yes.
How
and-
many
and
signed?
He has, in the diary, it has been the rest. The rest are in the seal cover. Rest
Figures are mentioned.
figure, rest are, that means that these are the not the, according to the presiding officer, in this case, my lord, 600 and something has been polled vote, that has been counted, and the rest are in the sealed cover. If the rest are in the sealed cover, unless the seal is broken and it is verified, how many are missing? It cannot be, my lord, the proper examination of the sealed ballot paper. And that presiding officer is the necessary party. And unless the court order, either the tribunal or the election petition or my lord, the seal cannot be touched by the returning officer.
I mean, lad, from the beginning, lad, a specific submission has been made, lad, that since 13 June, this honorable court, lad, passing order directing the election commission to ensure free and fair election. Now, lad, specific allegations made in this petition that 22 candidates were declared elected amongst 29.
Amongst?
29. And thereafter, blood certificate was issued in favor of the candidates belong to the ruling party. And blood, it was further stated that on the day of counting, blood, agents were thrown out from the counting center. Now, that's why the direction was to preserve the CCTV footage. Now, blood, since Ryan will come up with the authorities, blood, my prayer, first prayer in the writ petition is investigation, which is beyond the scope of the election petition. I have handed over the ballot papers. They have denied the authenticity of the ballot papers. Then there was fake ballot papers. And besides the counting center. They have to take the responsibility. The election commission, the returning officer or the presiding officer, whoever may be the officers under the election commission. And they have to act in terms of the direction of the High Court as well as the acts and rules. Now, the report does not disclose what has happened on the day of counting. Report does not disclose whether any steps, any actions, disciplinary measures has been taken against the presiding officer or any other officers.
May I say one thing, my lord? If my learned friend wants a free and fair election, let him not convert this into an adversarial one.
Yes, this is an adversarial against the election commission because
If he makes it an adversarial one, then we have got a lot of things to say. But when the court has made itself clear that the concern of the court is free and fair election,
yes,
well, let us be within that.
which the election commission has failed to discharge, my lord, in spite of direction of the Honorable High Court. And the Honorable High Court, my lord, has recorded in its order, my lord, that election commission should, my lord, keep in mind that the court is in decision of the matter.
On the last occasion, the person concerned, the video was present and he submitted that the ballot papers were issued.
Yes.
That
They-
means genuinity of the ballot papers are not in question. It
No.
was issued. If the issued ballot papers unused is moving around somewhere else, then don't you think that it calls for an investigation?
My lord, we can make all investigations. But kindly permit me to say this. But again, my lord, I am making myself clear, my lord. I don't want it to be an adversarial one.
Yes.
But if I may put a question to myself, my lord, any irregularity may not lead to an offense. We must know what offense does it constitute. But this is not absolutely not on a legal aspect. We must know what offense is committed by that. Now, if my learned friends say, like in the other matter, my learned friends have said that there should be an inquiry. But may I ask this question to myself, inquiry under which law? But if it is an inquiry, my lord, under the CRPC, well, there is no power of the police to inquire. But the inquiry is under the CRPC is a judicial act. All magistrates, my lord, they have been empowered by the CRPC to inquire.
Jangipara development block is taken on record. Stop. The report has been placed in court. Stop. It appears therefrom that the explanation provided by the Panchayat returning officer does not meet up the query of the court. Stop. Next. It appears that the Panchayat returning officer is trying to shift the burden upon the presiding officer. Stop. Next.
Lord, may I take your lordship's leave?
Yes. Paragraph. The prior to filing the affidavit, the Panchayat returning officer ought to have collected and gathered information from the presiding officer and incorporated the same in the report. Stop. The same not being done, the report appears to be absolutely vague and sketchy. Stop. Next. The paragraph. The Panchayat returning officer personally appeared before the court on 13th July 2023 and admitted that the ballot papers which are presently in the custody of the court were duly issued by the presiding officer, by the returning officer to the presiding officer. Stop. Next. A bundle of unused ballot papers from the ballot papers which were issued by the presiding officer, issued by the Panchayat returning officer, is alleged to be misused for manipulating the result of the election. Stop. Next. The Panchayat returning officer is directed to file further report before this court to answer the query put forth in the order dated 13th July 2023. Stop. Such report shall be filed by 8th of August 2023.
Let him also file a report about the incidents occurred on the day of counting.
He has mentioned nothing.
That's why they have, he has allegation has been specifically made in the writ petition.
Then the CCTV footages have to be, why wait for his
Well,
explanation?
let us then examine the CCTV
Then the
footage.
CCTV footages have to be examined and see as to what happened,
Right.
whether your allegations are proper or not.
That permission be given to us. Otherwise, my allegations is there. We have to examine then.
Where is the allegation? Please show me.
Paragraph 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, paragraph 4. And immediately,
On the date of the counting, this happened.
yes.
Unleashed massive violence.
And on the date of counting, the complaint was made at 9:48 a.m. in the morning itself. (9:48 a.m., 11:59 a.m. continuously you have mailed to the authorities.
Where do I get that?
Page 26 onwards.
Page 26.
But we have given the we have attached the photographs also. Injured victim at page 27. Again at page 30, we have given all the authorities mail. Page 30 at around 12. To the SP, to the Election Commission,